This video is all about which MPC should I get. I get a lot of questions about should I get the MPC 1 or the MPC Live 2. The X, is that good enough or is that too big for me? What can I do with it? It seems like it's too much to do here and there. I get it. And of course, all MPCs are not the same, but they all have the same science. An MPC Key 61 has an MPC inside of it. It loads the same software as the other ones do, but it also has a keyboard tied to it. So there's more you can do with that one. Now, the difference between all these MPCs are buttons, are piano keys, and there are outputs. There are MIDI ins and outs, right? And then there's digital in and out. A computer with an MPC app. The MPC 1, the MPC Live 2, the MPC X, and the MPC Studio all have the MPC app. Now, rules for shopping for an MPC I use. 1, you want to make sure the company you're going to work with is going to be able to take a return on that item. Usually it's about 30 days. I hope more, but mostly 30 days. Also, make sure you can return it either right to the store or you can return it with a delivery service that has tracking. That's important. Make sure when you do buy the item that you test every plug, every single button and knob. Make sure they all turn, they're all good. Check that always. Now, I'm not saying that AKAI sends out bogus stuff. I got habits I use I'm never going to stop using. It's always good. You never know what the problem will be. It keeps you really alert. And this way, when you do look over the piece of gear, you know everything is perfect. You want to check the software out too. Make sure the software works perfectly according to the book. Or of course, watch our video and you'll know everything. And that way, when you do start using the machine, you will be able to work that MPC like a pro. That's important. If you want to know which videos that you need to get for these MPCs, a link will be down below in the description, plus a link to buy the videos too as well. The MPC X. This is a classic. This is big. This machine weighs 12.5 pounds. It's very heavy. If it falls on your foot, see a doctor. It should be on a solid table, a table with no rollers whatsoever. Make sure you get a cover for it too as well. If you drop it, you're going to break that screen that's 10 inches and it's a multi-touch screen, which means more money you must spend. Protect it, keep it very clean. Now, it has outputs on the front and outputs in the back. It's great for using with turntables if you're a DJ. That's always cool if you're sampling also from records and you're doing your hip hop thing. It's great for club music as well. You have all 16 MIDI channels and MIDI actual knobs on there that you can use to go anywhere. That means anywhere within the parameter of a selection for the Q-Link, whether it's going to be screen or program or whatever, you hit that button, you'll be able to access the parameters that each of those buttons are designed for. And that's because the buttons have the name of the parameter it can attenuate in the software, which is awesome. All the buttons on here are great. They go everywhere. You don't need to even go in a menu half the time. Hit the button, you're right there. It's a great machine, but also it's expensive. And if you do buy this machine, make sure you're buying it for the purpose of, I guess, creating music more than twice a day. But if you're rich, you can afford it, get it. Because it's actually a great machine, and the resale value is kind of awesome too. Now, one thing I want to tell you too is to also buy the proper MIDI cables. Get the proper cables to put in the back of the machine as well. The line in and out, they're balanced inputs, so the signal will be clean. Make sure you have a clean source to send that signal to. I would suggest if you're going to use it by itself is to have some speakers that are going to work with the machine. This MPC sounds great, but you got to have great speakers too as well. And make sure you don't play them very loud, but it's loud enough. But this is the flagship. Next up, an MPC Live 2. This is a classic machine and it's awesome because it's portable. You can carry this machine anywhere. It has a battery inside, a lithium battery that will last for 5 hours. It also has speakers, stereo speakers built inside. That's kind of awesome. It's the only sampler MIDI production center in the world that has its own speakers. Now, if you're going to buy this machine, I'd say you should be like maybe a pro or know your MPCs really well, because it's really an awesome machine and that you probably want to do some mobile work. You may want to record vocals. I would use it for recording vocals and then playback. Let's say, for example, I know a singer. I wanted to sing a part. I'm going to go over to a crib with this. She's going to sing the part in. I got my microphone set up. Bam. I record it. I check it out. I work with it. This is a great MPC for rappers, singers, recording engineers, for guitar players, bass players, piano players, because you can play along with it and you can hear it back without having to put a headset on. That's a great experience. Also, if you're a rapper or singer, you can sing on the audio tracks and then play it back, see how they sound, and record again. This helps you get a much better sound and help you improve your technique of recording to a track you're trying to work into your repertoire or just for a live show, whatever. If you're doing club music or techno or house music, this is perfect. And if you want to go to a club somewhere, let's say you got an artist, you can plug this in into the system they have. It has balanced line inputs and outputs. It'll be a clean signal you're sending. They can get a microphone and they can sing to it. You can have your tracks on here and preview your tracks in a club and see how it sounds. If you buy the MPC Live 2, you should get a cover for it. Keep it clean. If you're going to travel with it, get a case to travel with it. Make sure you have a nice solid case. It weighs about 5.5 pounds. You don't want to drop it and break anything. Protect your investment in your MPC Live 2. But I love this machine. It's awesome. Nothing wrong with it. And it'll work for you if you take good care of it. We have a video for you to learn how to use the MPC Live 2. It's a very popular video here on YouTube. The link for that video is in the description below. There's also a link there if you want to buy the video. Any questions, just hit me up. Next up, we have the MPC 1. This has a classic look, and obviously, as you can see, it's smaller than the other MPCs. This MPC has a look like the old classic MPC 2000 XL or the MPC 2000. It's designed for the amateur or the beginner or someone who really doesn't want to spend that much money on an MPC but knows an MPC. This MPC is made in that way because you can see these buttons have names on. There are more buttons on here than there are on the MPC Live 2. It makes it easier for you to get around. Everything is right in front of you. It has the same 7-inch screen, multi-tap delay, and it can work perfectly in any environment. Now, I would suggest to get a cover for your MPC, and in any case, probably make sure you can get a case to carry it around if that's possible, but you can load in your compact flash card in here. You can do whatever you need to do on this MPC, and it also works with your computer as well. Now, this MPC should be bought by, let's say, a rapper or a singer or someone starting out who wants to be a producer, who wants to take in samples and then start making up beats and using stuff actually with club music, where you can use a CV gate and pull in the synth sounds and learn how to use that. This is great for that purpose. And if you're starting out, this is really awesome to start out with this MPC. Its cost is no more than $750. That includes tax. Now, this MPC has no speakers. You'll have to get some speakers if you want to have speakers, but you can also use the headphones. But I prefer you to buy speakers because it's better for your ears. Now, when you do buy speakers, buy enough that are like studio monitors. You need to buy some that are enough for your room and the size you're going to use it in. That's really important. But you can do like other MPCs. You can record audio in here, like your vocals. If you're a rapper, you can get the tracks from some of your friends or whoever's going to give you tracks, import those tracks into your MPC, and then get an audio track and record your vocals in this MPC and play it back too. This way you can judge how good you are or not. Now this is for singers, rappers, guitar players, anybody who wants to get into the business of recording music and then hearing back how it sounds and adding more stuff in. It's small enough to take to your keyboard player's house and have him put some tracks down. Now this MPC is economical. Let's say you're starting out and then you don't want to use it again. You can sell it, it'll still have the value to it, and you can get some money back. But if you're starting out, this is the one to start out with. That way, you can see how it works. It works like the other MPCs. The MPC Science is in here and easy to use. If you need help with this MPC, I will leave a link to our instructional video on YouTube so you can watch it and go over it. That video is over 5 hours long. I will teach you everything on how to use this MPC in the right way. Any questions? Just hit me up. Next, the MPC Studio. Now this costs about $300, maybe $330, depending on the tax where you are. And it's a controller. It's not actually an MPC in terms of like having the software built inside. It's not standalone. It will control the software in your computer. Now in my case, when I use it, I use a Mac. And so I have a high-end Mac. Now with an MPC Studio, you can do everything to control the MPC software on your computer, whether it's MPC Beats or MPC2. So it works just like an MPC. It controls the software. Like the Q-Link will work with the software. You can edit samples with the software on your computer, and the power of your computer will give you help or give you more of a robust deal, because you can actually have a high-end computer and you can load in a bunch of freaking samples. You could probably, if you got the keyboard end of it and got a bunch of keyboards, you can load a lot of instances of a keyboard. So you can have a bunch of keyboards on there and there'll be no problem because your system will run faster. It's a better experience with a great keyboard than it is with an actual MPC, because a computer that's high-end will have more power than your MPC and will have more RAM and will have more CPU power as well. So you're going to have a really great, robust feeling when working with it, and it'll be just great to work with. And using the MPC Studio will, of course, keep your costs down. If you want to keep costs down and you don't want to buy an MPC, or you feel that's going to be too much for you, then what you want to do is get an MPC Studio, make sure you've got a really great computer that can work with, and then you want to use the app inside your computer and use the MPC Studio. The pads on it are great. They're MPC pads. They're going to work with the system also. The Q-Link works great. Doing sample editing works great. Pulling up programs works great. It just works because it's just controlling the software. So if you want to control the software on your computer, whether it's a Mac or a PC, the MPC Studio is going to work perfectly with it. Your main problem will be how good you are, how fast you can work with it, and whether you know everything about the MPC software. It's a difference in working these standalone because there are buttons on there and tells you what to do. But you must understand the MPC software. Now, if you don't understand that, of course, I have videos for you, and we have full videos on how to use the entire software for the MPC, whether it's on a standalone or it's in your computer. Don't worry about that. The main thing here, I believe, for you probably is to cut your costs, and you probably want to get the MPC Studio. The MPC Key 61. This is an MPC with keys in it, and they work great. The machine works perfectly well as an MPC, but the person who usually buys this machine is a keyboard player, and he will know whether he wants to spend the money or not for this MPC. If you're a rapper, you shouldn't buy this MPC. You should buy one that works for what you know what you're going to do. If you're a keyboard player, you should test it out, look at the parameters, and see if they match. Most keyboard players want a certain weight to the keys. They want certain sounds to come with it. So, if you're a keyboard player, check that out. You can check out our video down below and hit me up if you have any questions. There's no problems with it, but if you're a keyboard player, you're going to buy it. If you're not a keyboard player, I wouldn't suggest buying it. If you're rich enough and you can afford it and you want to buy it, buy it.